We are here with my friend Xana and interviewing about my book, This Really Happened. As a well-read person possessing good writing skills yourself, what would you say about This Really Happened as a piece of literary work, which I consider it is? Its style, humor, and references.
So I really enjoyed reading the book, and I think it does a very good job transporting us to the situations and to the moments, because you describe them in such an endearing way and with humor. As you say, it's quite unusual for animal stories to be told with this humorous side, and I think it could be a little bit tough to engage an audience that's very diverse, because they're such personal stories, but you do it in a way that it's appealing. So it's not just your own personal story that you write for your own pleasure, but you actually share a story that other people can relate to. And what happened to me was that they actually took me back to some of my animal encounter memories that, of course, I've never written, but made me think about pets in my life and animals that I've come across. So
and besides, as my ex-neighbor, actually
yes.
You were part of the stories, and in fact you are in the book on one of the pictures, and so I feel like you are the closest person to the book and to the stories. But
Yeah.
do you have a favorite story?
So I like Tiga the imposter. I like how he takes his destiny
Yes,
into
a
his
cat,
own
right?
paws,
Yeah.
right? In own
A
paws.
cat.
And he goes out to make himself adoptable,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
goes
yeah.
out looking for the right person, for the right owner,
Yeah.
which is rather unusual for an animal.
Yeah.
We tend to think of animals as ours, our possession. We can't even buy them, right?
Yeah.
So I really like that story, and of course I like probably the hardest story to write, because exactly of my proximity to the events, and because
Because you were the one
I
who was driving us to the
yeah,
vet.
sweet
Yeah.
dreams, my sweet.
Yeah.
So it's bittersweet, but it really took me back to that day and to the days following.
Yeah.
And I really like the part where you describe the dream, the only dream post Kozica that you had of Kozica.
Yeah,
So
that's right. That's
I
right.
really like that part.
Yeah.
So those are probably my two favorite stories. I also like the one about the chicken and the rooster.
Okay, well,
Them along.
it's interesting because other interviewees like those stories too.
Yeah.
Do you
So I'm
have?
not original.
No. It just, it just happens that really is, that tells me
Yeah.
something, right? That this really,
It touches people.
yeah, it touches. What do you have any comparisons with other fiction or non-fiction stories about animals?
Yeah, I don't think I've read a lot of animal books or books that told stories with animals. I read the La Fontaine fables when I was a kid. I read them over and over again because it was one of the books. It's not hard, and for a child starting to read, it's quite nice. So I don't really have a good comparison. Those stories were meant to to teach morals, and
Yeah.
to have kind of a purpose,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
and your book really doesn't have a moral purpose, or a, well, it does have an educational undertones, enjoy your pets, be aware of your animals that
and
surround
leave
you
leave nature to
to
itself.
itself, but
Yeah.
when you invite nature into your home, be respectful and be caring.
Yeah,
So
that's right. That's right.
yeah.
So, well, thank you. That's very nice. That's very nice, nice
Sure.
insight. And well, this covers my next question. Actually,
Oh.
what's the value of a true story versus fiction? You just said it, right?
Yeah, it's nice to have that personal to get a sense of how those stories touched someone and were part of someone's life. In terms of value, you know, it's a creative process nonetheless. You've lived the stories, you're not inventing a story, but you still need to write it and write it properly and put all the emotional and humorous undertones in it. So in terms of comparing it to fiction, and I think there's really no comparison. It's what books do to you. It's what emotions they stir in you.
I think perhaps with animals it is especially valuable when it's a real event as opposed to invented, you know.
Yeah, true.
And you know, actually reality is often more wondrous than fiction, right?
It is, but it's often not
noticed
noticed
or
realized. And we're so busy, you know, running around doing our thing that we rarely have time. And that's your gift, is you're sensitive to the animals, and along with animals come also their masters, because you do also talk about them. So it's not just about animals, it's about animals, and it's about the humans that share their lives with the animals. So
could you describe how different the experience of This Really Happened as a printed book would be if it were an e-book? And which it might become someday.
So I'm very. I actually have an opinion on that. I'm very opinionated on ebooks. I personally, the world is going in that direction, right? Everything that we'll ever need will be in a handheld device, right? Including reading books. I like the other senses. I like to use them for books, for reading books, not just the visual to read it, which I can read on a computer or on an iPad or whatever. But I like the smell of it, and I like to touch them. I like to have them. I like to look at them.
Hugged.
I like to hug them, and I like to see them there waiting for me to come and open them and read them. So I have a hard time with the ebook concept. You know, I understand some of the practicality of an
the
ebook.
Portability is extremely convenient.
My friends that rave about ebooks and reading it on a device talk about, I'm going on vacation, or I'm on a plane and I don't have to carry it. Is it so difficult to carry a couple of books? It really isn't. So it's a bit of a lazy attitude. So so
we are strongly for printed books.
Printed books, but if you plan on having an ebook, you reach other audiences. Right?
Also, like for instance, with the other book, Once Upon Skates, I have a lot of additional material which I can include in ebook, you know, the videos and stuff,
and the songs.
And actually, also with this book, because here we have interviews, I can include interviews with the ebook. So there is an advantage to that, and plus
the book trailer, right? That's the big thing, the ebook trailer.
You know,
it's like movie trailers for books. It's a whole new world.
The book alone is not, you know, it's not enough. You know, you have to have all these accessories around it, you know, arrangement and to sell. So
and then maybe it will become a movie too.
Well, that would be nice. Well, thank you very much, Xana. It was very, very lovely to talk to you.
Very welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.